I'm Lisa Camilleri. My guest today is Mahesh Mangonka from India. You are the British Junior Under 15 Open winner, winning in 2009. Indian Junior Under 19s Open winner, winning in 2011. Indian National Champion in 2019. You joined PSA in 2009 at the age of 16. You've played 110 PSA events and you've been in 17 finals and winning 8 of those finals. Your highest world ranking is number 44 and you're currently ranked 49 in the world. So congratulations on all your achievements so far, and welcome.
Thank you
for joining me today at Squash Alchemy.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
I'll start things off with, how did you start playing squash, and what age did you start playing?
So I started actually with badminton. I was 7 years old, and like sports in general was like an extracurricular activity. My parents had put me into sports so that I don't sit at home and watch TV. So yeah, like I started off with badminton at first, and one of my school friends, he used to play squash, like a year older to me, and he used to do like regular squash coaching lessons in the same club where I played badminton. And he once like told me like, why don't you like try out squash, we can like play together. And when I actually like tried it, I kind of enjoyed it and did a few more times in that week. And then I decided like, okay, maybe I can like stop badminton and then like start squash. And because like it was my friend, we used to like play each other. And when he was obviously like better than me because he was playing like more squash, it kind of like motivated me that I want to be as good as him, or like I want to also like beat him, or like be able to do things that he's able to do. So we decided to start training under the same coach, and I think that's how I began my journey.
Okay, that's pretty exciting. You seem like you're quite determined from such a young age. Did you start taking it a little bit more serious, and when did you decide to go pro?
Actually, it did not take very long for me to take it seriously. Like I think I played my first tournament when I was like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. So just from like, I had probably done like 20 lessons, and then I decided to like enter a competition, and I could barely hit the ball. Like my footwork and everything was all over the place. I was playing with like the most old school rackets. Like the company was called Silver, and it had like a long stick and like a very small round. Okay. And used to get those for like, the rackets were costing like 10 euros, you know. So it was like a very cheap racket, and I played my first tournament with that racket. And yeah, so after that, then I told my coach like, I wanna take this seriously. I wanna be like good in my state and everything. It started off like with like playing competitions state level, and then I started to surprisingly do well in them, and then I started to go national level, and then I won my first nationals when I played it. Mm-hmm. And I think when I was 9, I won my first national, and in that same year, wow, my coach told me there is a Malaysian Open. I think it was called Milo. Probably you've played it. Yeah. So so I played like Milo and Penang Junior Open. So my coach said like, you should definitely go, and like it'll be a good experience for you. So when I went there, I played the under 11 category, and I won both those events.
Wow.
So yeah. And from then on and then in the same year I also played the British Junior Open, but that was obviously like a higher category, like under 13s, and I went there just to have fun. So I honestly had no goal, and the guys in the category, they were like much bigger than me. I was like very tiny, skinny Indian playing a British Junior Open.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Like, you know, from the age of 13, you had some good international exposure, and you're just hooked pretty much from then. And
absolutely, yeah.
So then you came home, and From the age of 13 to 18, you just kept playing. Did you sort of go
Yeah,
back and forth every year playing international tournaments?
yeah. I actually, so when I was 12, I kind of decided to like take it a bit more seriously. So my parents decided like that I have like a realistic shot at the sport. So they said like, why don't we go to Egypt and train? So before every big event, like in the juniors, there was Pioneer and Dutch, and there was Scottish and British.
Mhm.
So before all these events, I used to train in Egypt for like a month. So I did this for 4 years,
Wow.
and yeah, I was training a lot in Egypt. So I was playing with guys like Abu Algar and Mazin Hisham, who are like much better than me now. But uh, yeah, like I was like just I grew up playing with them, and like I was also like competing with them. Like we are same age. So yeah, and then after that, I think at 16 or no, at 14, I think I won my British Junior Open.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, and after that I was like, okay, I really enjoy the sport. I like traveling, and I like the competing factor in the sport. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna take this as a professional, as
Yeah.
my profession.
So at 17,
Yeah,
when you decided to go pro, you were still in India then, and you're obviously living in Europe now. When did you make the move to
yeah.
base yourself in Europe?
So at 17 I decided to go pro, and I lived in London for a year.
Hmm.
So I was doing homeschooling from like when I was 17. I was like doing homeschooling, and uh, I was training with Pete Genever.
Yeah.
If you know Peter Genever, he was in London that time, and he had like a very good group of players. Like there was Joe Lee, there was Pete Barker, there was Tom Richards, so Max Lee was there. Aslan was still playing that time, and so there was a good bunch of players there. So I was just like sparring with them every day. I was quite like terrible, but like I was just like happy to be there.
Uh-huh.
And they were probably like, we don't want to play with this kid.
Come on, gotta give yourself a bit of credit.
Yeah, but actually training there like kind of like helped me a lot in terms of doing well in my professional career.
Mhm.
And yeah, I started playing pro. I think in my first PSA in I think I played in Australia. I lost to Mike Corrin in the semis,
Mhm.
and I did not expect like to reach like a 5K semis. I was just happy to like qualify in the 5K. So yeah, and I think that's how like the whole thing began. And after so the thing is like when I was living in London, Pete Jenner got an offer from Malaysia to become the national coach. So he
Mhm.
left, and again my world fell apart. So then I had to like find like a new coach. That's when I like found Sean, and I contacted him, and then I was there for like 3 years in Belgium training under his guidance.
Um,
Yeah,
so then when you moved to Belgium and you started training, you mentioned earlier that you were training with some of the boys like Cameron Pilley and Steve
yeah,
Finitsis and whatnot that were based there at the time. How was all of that
yeah.
training?
Oh, it was good. I mean, it was a bit more relaxed, to be honest. Like there was no like a setup, there
Mhm.
was no like coach or anything. We players like used to fix up sessions by ourselves, and we used to do like our own thing. So we didn't really like have a coach, but like everyone knew exactly what they wanted to work on. So that way, like it kind of like taught me like you don't really need to have a coach every time looking at you as to how you're playing. You need to, if you want to improve, you need to know exactly what you need to work on, and you just got to go there and execute it. Like practice those things. If you find certain weaknesses, work on them by yourself, or when you're with Sean, like you can tell them about the weaknesses
Mhm.
that you have identified. So I did that, and yeah, and then when like Sean left, then I was pretty much like kind of like spaced out because I didn't really know what to do. I was still like learning about training by myself, and I didn't really believe that you could actually like still like make it to the top without having a coach. But it just took some time for me to absorb that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just had to like learn a little bit. I was still young. I was, I think, 19. uh, yeah, so but it was good. Like after that I just moved to Holland, and then it was good. But actually, I at 19 I had some really good results. Like I I think I reached 44 in the world when I was, I think, 19 or 20.
Mm.
And my best tournament in when I was 19 was the Malaysian Open, where I almost beat Tarek Mohamed.
Yeah, wow.
So I had some pretty good results
Yeah,
back
good.
then. Yeah, yeah.
And what do you put that down due to? Did you have a good sort of training lead up to all of that?
Yeah, yeah. So when I started working with Sean, like it was like, I think everything he told me, uh, like I understood it very well, and I just focused on that. And I just felt like when he was there with me, it just felt like things are more relaxed. And like no matter, like he just made me feel like no matter what happens, like he's always going to be there with me. And he's going to guide me, like, okay, if this type of game plan or something is not working, like he's going to tell me, okay, you need to do it this way. And so he was very supportive in that manner, and I really like trusted him a lot. And I think that kind of uh so when you're like playing tournaments, you normally have like that pressure of going in a tournament. So I would say like Sean helped me get that pressure off and stay a bit more relaxed during events. And he just made me like focus on the things that were in my control, rather than focusing on like the referee, for example, or bouncy courts, or slippery courts or something like that. Yeah,
That's some pretty good advice there, actually.
yeah,
Like it sounds like you did quite a lot of mental work with
yeah,
Sean, and
yeah, a lot. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
as you mentioned, things that are out of your control. It's sometimes hard to just block that out and focus on what you have gotten, what is in control rather than what you can't control. So that's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. It kind of affects your performance a lot. If you focus on just what you're supposed to do, it plays a huge role in terms of how you're playing and everything. And squash being like such a high level sport, like it's very difficult to like lose control over things, because there are so many things happening behind the scenes as well. Like especially when you're playing World Series events, like, and if you're playing them for the first time, you're just excited coming from like 5K events, which have like the most like basic like height in and slippery courts. And like the referees are, I don't know, like they're all like all over the place. There are probably like four people watching you, and then you go and play like World Series events, then like it kind of like uh you just get a bit distracted. I don't know if other players do, but when I started playing World Series, like I did get distracted a lot, and I was just amazed to like be there. And I kind of got a little bit soft over there, because I was like, rather than focusing on the goal that I was there, I started focusing on, oh, people coming to watch me, I better play well.
Yeah.
So like I started putting pressure on myself for like no reason.
Mm.
Like I remember this one match, like I think I was playing TOC with Leo. I think it was first round qualifying, and I was like in Harvard Club, I think, and there were like a lot of people. They had come to like watch me, and I was like, I better play well, because there are like people have paid tickets for this match, so I make sure like I give them like a good show. So like this kind of like tells me that I'm not really focusing on my performance. I'm focusing on making sure that people have a good show.
Right.
So that puts so much pressure on me. And like because of this, I used to like get tired very quickly in a
Mm.
match, because yeah, it's just too much pressure.
Yeah.
There's pressure from the match, there's pressure from the people. The people are not putting pressure on me, but I have put it in my head that people are, like people
Yep.
are here to like watch you. So that pressure was there, and the pressure from myself, which was to do well.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
was also there. So it's very difficult to like perform under these kind of circumstances. And I had to like dig deep into my mental game, to figure this out and stay a bit more relaxed and find like that sweet spot of living in the zone kind of thing. You know.
How different now is your approach? Is it just more your sort of pre-warm up and how you sort of handle things differently? How do you?
No, so I have obviously like since then I have like worked a lot on my head. I have learned to and I'm still learning, but until now I think I have learned like how to. There are like different kind of pressures when you play. There's like competitive pressure. There's like the pressure which makes you feel like stressed out, and so I've like learned to handle that better. I'm also like I've also learned how to handle expectations, which have actually like helped me a lot when I'm playing, especially guys who are lower ranked than me. That has helped me a lot, like expectations, because I always think like if I'm playing a lower ranked player, I have to win. Like I put that pressure on myself, and then the whole thing is again, like there's more disappointment, there's more pressure, and so like managing expectations is very important. So I've kind of like learned that as well.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah.
can you go into a little bit of depth of your mental training? Yeah. What kind of?
Oh, so I so obviously like I did a lot of research on like mental training. I used to read a lot of blogs and like Instagram pages, and so I did a lot of research on that. And I was watching like what the top guys are doing, and there was actually not many. I didn't find many top guys who had like a mental set routine. But I found guys who like failed a lot in their career, and I basically like went on their blogs and like websites. All of them like sports athletes, but like what did they do wrong when they were in their career, and what are they doing differently now to like make their lives better? So I kind of like dug a little bit deeper into that, and that kind of like helped me a lot. So for example, like I'll tell you, when I talk about its pressure, I have to be very specific about what is the kind of pressure I feel. Like I kind of like write it down. Like, okay, if I feel like there's pressure from myself, then what kind of pressure do I feel? Like, is it the pressure that I have to win, or is it the pressure from performing well, or is it the pressure that I cannot lose to a player who is lower ranked than me? So I'm at least like aware that okay, this pressure is there, but like there's awareness about this pressure. So, and then once I do that, when I'm aware of it, then I kind of like look at it like, okay, realistically, what is more important to you right now? So performance pressure is important, or like the result of the result is important, or losing to a player who's like uh, lower ranked than you is important. So I always think like, okay, performance pressure is obviously better than the other two options. So if I choose like performance pressure, then I go a little bit more deeper. So when I feel pressured in performance, like what is the kind of pressure I feel? So then I again like lay out a few options. Like I feel like there's I sometimes run out of tactics, like plan A, B, C. Like I always play with like plan A. So then then it's better for me to have like plan B, plan C, plan D, so that if I feel like my tactical game has been threatened by my opponents, then I at least have like a few other plans which I can execute, and that kind of helped me a little bit more. And I'll actually tell you one more example. I also went through a phase where like I was like pretty like I'm a fit person, but and my game is also like very like physical. Like I'm not very like skillful, but I'm more like a five setter player. And but the thing is like if you're playing a long match, you are going to feel it physically no matter what. But it took me some time to embrace that feeling of pain when you're like playing a long rally. So when that lactic is in your legs, or when your lungs are like, like they're on fire,
Mhm.
there's like a sense where you need to like embrace the pain, so in those things I had to like find the choices that I made to like be like in that situation. Like it was more like gratitude, like I'm thankful to be here. Like if I feel pain, I'm like, this is where I get better, kind of thing. So I had to put it in simple words. If I'm feeling pressured, the idea of winning has to be more than the pain I'm feeling. So in that way, I had to like I had to make my, like, everybody's hungry. Like everybody wants to win the tournament. Everybody wants to beat like the high ranked players, but there has to be something more than just like being the number one player. So for me, that was more like, I just want to like feel the pain, kind of thing. Uh, and when that pain comes in, I want to like embrace it. I want to have that feeling like, oh, pain is here, and I want to like make it my best friend, kind of. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, I think a lot of people have the same feelings as yourself, like how to deal with pressure, how to deal with, your mind racing too far ahead. But that's some great tips on how to handle that. So thank you for,
Yeah.
going into
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what's been some of your most memorable moments on tour so far?
I think there have been probably like just two. One was I think in the World Juniors 2012, when I played the Abu Algar in the quarterfinals. Um, it was a funny match, actually. So I was 2-love up against him, and again, like I was like like nobody had expected me to like come reach the quarterfinals first of all, uh, and and I was supposed to like get chopped by Apolgar because he was like playing at his best in the World Juniors that time. So, but I went like I was 2-love up, and in the third game I was 10-8 match ball up, and the the match kind of like overturned. Like it then I like it became 10-all, and then I lost 12-10. And in the fourth game again, I was like 10-9 match ball up, and I lost 12-10 again. And the fifth game, I was I think 10-8 up or something, and then it was 10-all, and then I was 11-10 match ball up, and then I lost like 13-11. So I literally like cried my eyes out after that match. I think that one match is always gonna like stick with me.
Yeah.
So, and the other one I think would be I think the Malaysian Open. Like I did really well there. Yeah, like I would say like I came close to beating like a I didn't beat a top 10 player, but like I came very close to beating a top 10 player. Like I played Tariq Momin in the quarterfinals, and I lost to him like 11-8 in the fifth. And I had like a good run in that tournament. Like I had beaten Bengi, and he was like top 20 in the world at that time. And yeah, so it was like a good tournament for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Um, what's your training like? I see it on social media. You're in the gym a lot. So is strength a big part of your training?
Yeah. Not just strength training, but like I like to train on overall fitness. So I don't specifically train for squash. I train basically for like everything. Like I train to run like a 400-meter, like a good 400-meter time. I train like to have like a good heavy back squat. So I do a lot of CrossFit, to make it simple. I do a lot of CrossFit,
Yeah.
and I love the training methodology, and I just love the training concept that CrossFit has to offer.
Yeah.
And I try and right now, because of the quarantine, I'm not doing any squash specific fitness. I'm purely doing cross, like I'm training like a CrossFit athlete right now, like 2 times a day, doing a lot of gymnastics, a lot of like handstand walking and obstacle course and stuff like that. So I'm basically like covering everything.
No.
but it's now, I think it's time for me to like become more specific with my fitness,
Yeah, yeah.
and like be more sports specific than do like CrossFit. But yeah, I just love it. Yeah.
Have this love always been there, or has it just been a new thing to?
It kind of developed over the years.
Uh,
So I obviously like started CrossFit to supplement for squash, and basically like I had like literally tried every type of training program before I went to like CrossFit, and that didn't really, they worked, but they worked only for like a short period. They weren't working for me in terms of longevity. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, like I didn't really like look like a squash player. Like uh, like I look like very skinny and like a typical Indian, like skinny, but they have like a stomach. So yeah, I was like that, and then I was like, no, I need to like get in better shape, and yeah, I just need to be like physically much fitter than what I am right now. I was still like decent fit, like I was like fine, but I was just not happy with the way I was training and everything. But now, like, so like again, talking about pressure, like it's also like if you put too much focus on like just one thing, for example, like if you want to become world number one, if you make that your whole life, and it's possible that you like it stresses you out too much sometimes,
mm,
so there has to be something on the side which kind of like takes off the pressure, from becoming like that world number one.
yeah.
And so I would say like CrossFit is something which kind of like deviates my mind from squash,
Okay.
but at the same time it is also helping me in a way to get better at squash.
Mm,
So it works my physical, it has physical preparation and mental preparation,
yeah.
like the thing about I told you about embracing pain, reminder of choices, and right, like reminder of gratitude. Like when I feel pain, like I'm thankful to be here. I got that from CrossFit. Like that has taught me a lot.
Okay.
So
So they
yeah.
do they teach that, or is that something you just picked up?
I actually was trained. So when I started doing CrossFit, I did personal training straight away, and and I used to follow like programs, like online programs, but it wasn't really like structured. But in the last 2 years, last 1.5 years, I've started doing like a proper CrossFit program.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach is a regionals athlete. He's from France, and his name is like Pierre Macon, and he lives in Holland. So that's when he like created like a program for me, and it's actually quite famous now. It's called Pirates Program. So I just follow that. And when I was like training with him, he did a lot of like mental training with me while we were doing the fitness sessions. So when I was like in the middle of the workout, he used to like tell me like, these are the things you should be focusing on to like get better.
Mm,
So that kind of helped me, and I would say like it made me a bit more savage in
uh-huh.
terms of approaching things, which I
Yeah.
really really want,
Mm,
which I really desire.
yeah. Sure.
So
That's so
yeah,
beneficial. That's yeah, pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you also mentioned that you didn't really like the look of your physique before, and now that you're doing CrossFit, did your diet change as well?
Oh yes, big time. Like when I started doing CrossFit, I had to like my whole life like came into perspective. Uh, like it's not just about physical training and like winning points or doing that like so many number of reps, but it's everything. Your whole lifestyle needs to like change. So I did like some research on diet. I didn't take any classes, but I did like a basic research on diet, and it was from a CrossFit program, the diet, and it was very simple. I understood it very quickly, and I put it into practice also like very quickly as soon as I like got into it.
So, what's your goals for obviously when tour resumes back on, and then going forward into 21?
So I'm hopefully well, I think there are no such goals, to be honest. I have learned that I have, in the past I have had like many goals, and I have never like reached them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never expected, first of all, like when I wanted to be top 50, I never expected myself to be like top 50. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I was like 44 in the world, then I was like, okay, now my next goal is top 30, and then I went to 70. Instead of going up, I went down. So I don't really, and when I have goals, it sets like a time, like I have to reach it.
Uh-huh.
Like, so, and when I set something like I have to do it, like it becomes, it puts a bit of pressure on me.
Sure.
So I kind of don't really like have any goals like that. But yes, I do have like targets which I want to do. But those targets are like all mental based, and they're like those targets are mostly on self improvement.
Mm.
So for example, so yesterday actually I had my first squash session like during this quarantine, and I haven't played squash in like 3 months. I had my knee surgery as well, so it's been longer for me than like the rest of the squash community. So and he said like you've lost like a lot of your skill work, so I need to do that. And he said like by June or end of June, like do you should do a lot of solo, so that by June or end of June, like you should have that skill work back with you.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I focus on these kind of things. I have like squash related targets. I don't really have like ranking targets, or
Yeah.
like, okay, I need to in September I need to beat Muhammad Al Sharpagi. Like I don't have like such targets, because that puts a lot of pressure on me, and that's something out of my control. Like you cannot really control whether you can beat someone or no. What the only thing you can control is yourself, and the choices you make.
Yeah.
So, and when I look at things um, like for example like skill work, like yes, that's in my control. Like all I need to do is just be a bit more disciplined and regular with my solo training, and I will get that. That's more realistic. And even when I tell you, like it makes sense to you as well, because it's like like you relate to it. So and it's easily achievable.
Yeah. Sure.
So these are the things like I try to do.
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah.
and again, that's such good advice. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about me, which
Yeah.
now when I coach people, it was just such an unhealthy thing. I was very, my whole goal was to make top 10 in the world. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I printed out the rankings from the top 50 rankings, and I was sitting at
Yeah.
30 something at the time. So
Yeah.
I stuck it on my roof. So where I slept, every
Yeah.
time I'd sleep, I could look up on the roof and I'd see the ranking list on my ceiling.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
highlighted where I was, and then I circled the top 10 where I
Yeah.
wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it was just such a, like you said, it was so out of my reach. Now, when you're chasing a number, it's so unrealistic, and
Yeah.
it's something you can't, you don't have the power to be able to go, I want to be in that, that number. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
setting targets where they're more skill specific, or improving your body,
Yeah.
improving your,
Yeah.
it's such more of a healthy approach. So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that as well.
Yeah. And I think like, and it's very much possible that like these, like when you're like chasing, yes, my ultimate goal is actually to be top 10 in the world. Yeah, that's what I really want that. But if I, from now on, if I just say like, okay, I want to be top 10, I want to be top 10, there's, yes, the goal is to be top 10, but there is no like there is no structure for there's no structure in your life to be top 10 in the world.
Mm.
There's a lot of groundwork which you need to do to get to top 10 in the world. So, and that's where I think like you need to be reminded of the choices you've made, reminder of your gratitude, like, and these things take off pressure from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, for the last question, all the experiences that you've gone through from, your junior to your pro career so far, what advice would you give to a junior who wants to pursue squash as their main sport?
I would say identify if a squash player, if a junior who wants to take professional squash, I would ask him like to identify like what he really wants, like why does he want to join the tour, and what is his like end goal, like where do you see yourself going. And I would also like question him like what are you going to do if you don't get there, because it's very much possible. Like when I started playing pro, I was like, I'm gonna be world number. That's my goal. Like I want to be world number one. But nobody like questioned me like, what if you don't get there? Because it's very much possible, you know. And when I was like 24, 25, I kind of started like realizing that like, you know, like it's possible that you might not even be there. So what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna be like disappointed or like what? So I was like. I gave like the most basic answer, you know, like, oh, like I'm gonna suicide, like I'm gonna like kill myself, like I don't want to live anymore if I do this. So, but that's not like a very healthy approach. Like you still need to be happy with with where you've got. Say for example, like if I'm 49 in the world and this is the best I can do, I need to find a way. I need to make my lifestyle that being 49 in the world is absolutely fine, and I need to like be happy and like make my life around that. And if I'm 49 in the world, then yes, I can do something else after that. And then maybe if I start coaching squash, then I can tell them, okay, these are the mistakes I made, so I hope you don't make them, you know, and then you can get much higher than me. So that is what I would say. And I would say like so first of all, like I would say like don't expect anything when you if you're trying to play like squash and trying to be a professional squash player. Don't expect anything, don't have high expectations. Like this one thing, I won't really like say this to like juniors, but like uh I was so I went through a phase from like 2015 to 20 not 2015, 2016 to 2018 maybe, where I was like losing a lot of matches. Like I was losing to players I wasn't supposed to lose, and I became like quite negative at that time. And yeah, and then that negativity like was like coming to me very naturally, you know. Like if for example, like if a cricket match is going on and my team is playing, like I would be like, oh, my team's gonna lose, like no chance. Like I became very negative that way. And again, like I had to do all of this like by myself, like nobody helped me out. But like obviously like my parents supported me, and they made me realize, you know, like you're becoming more and more negative as a person. So I kind of like, my mom especially, like she helped me a lot with this, like to start off with, because I didn't really know like I had become like this really negative person. And once I like realized it, then I started to like replace my words. Instead of for example, like if I have to like say like I have to play this match or I have to win this, I would say like I want to win this, or you know, I get to play this match, I get to be in a World Series event, something like that. So that kind of, I started off like that, and that kind of changed my perspective a little bit, and I started being more happy. And everything when I was approaching anything, like it was just a more healthier path to success.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, they're all affirmations, right? And it depends
Yeah,
on
yeah,
whether you want to feed yourself positive affirmations or negative
yeah,
affirmations. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
that's yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
perfect. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you all the
yeah,
best of luck. And
yeah. Thank you.
thanks for sharing your knowledge
Yeah,
and tips there. Really good.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. I was happy to be here.